curious to inquire into this topic about slavery. I want to persuade the people who think that slavery is nothing and who think they should do nothing about it. I think that we should stop slavery because it's so heartless and we walk straight past it and never do anything about it. First of all, slavery affects the children who are involved in slavery. How does it work? Well, if a person or mother is a slave, any baby she has is the master's, and the master has all the power. Sometimes the master sells their slaves and their children get separated from their mother, but that's something I'll explain later. So, slavery is a callous thing. As I said before, it affects the children, and what happens to you stays with you, right? So, if they eventually get rescued from being a slave and end up living freely, they may have difficulties with many things. So again, it impacts a child's life. Isn't it shocking that people are so heartless to this horrid thing? According to the U.S. government, between 14,500 and 17,500 people are trafficked into slavery in the U.S. every year, and nearly 30 million people live in slavery around the world. Nearly half are all children. India, China, and Pakistan have the highest numbers in slavery. For a fact, India uses a lot of little boys to do some very, very hazardous work. Next, some more slavery. I'm so crushed that people do this. Well, as I previously said, nearly 30 million people live in this misery. I cannot believe people are so spiritless to this torturous thing to innocent people. Some people see slavery as an absolute evil. Others see it as a positive. Some see it as an economic necessity, and others see slavery as holding the nation back economically. See what I mean? This astonishing callous slavery? Usually, slavery involves slaves, money, masters, and power, which masters have because they have all the money, which is from the slaves' unpaid work. For one thing, if the kids are occupied being slaves, it means that they're not going to school, which is not fair. Why can't the world be perfect? Because people are doing horrible things to innocent people. You know when people say that there's not enough food for the world for everyone? Well, that's a lie, because there is. Just now everyone thinks it's about money and how rich you are. Reality is, no one's actually sharing it out equally. Instead, the United Nations could help the slavery problem by appointing a special representative that would focus on contemporary slavery. The existing members could contribute funds and resources to the special representative to ensure that he or she can really attack slavery worldwide. Ending slavery means making it impossible to take root anywhere. Once it is stopped in a country, region, or community, that place must be slavery-proof. There are slaves in more than 100 American cities today. That is why our actions are taken to ensure that children should be free from slavery. Children are in poverty. As I said before, I will tell you about parent separation. So, it starts off by the mother's master selling her child. Then they get separated from their families, so it's very hard to do well without your parents' encouragement. As a result, if they eventually get rescued from being a slave and they go to school, they won't get graded as well as with kids with their parents' encouragement. It's a proven fact. It impacts their future or job. Their life will be 10 times harder than our normal problems. When Africans were taken from their homes and forced into slavery, they were separated from mothers, fathers, and sisters and brothers, and were torn from extensive kinship networks. Enslaved in the British colonies of North America, or the Free States of the American Union, the ability of Africans to reestablish nuclear families and familial support systems depended on how many factors included the needs and desires of the slave owner. I have been very furious and sad to know that slavery has been around for ages, and now more people are being enslaved. So by reading this, I hope you agree that slavery is a horrible thing, and it impacts a child's life, and that children aren't being educated enough because they are occupied being a slave. It's so horrible that parents get separated from their children. To conclude this, I hope you agree with me.